So I felt like doing another Q&A, another episode of Ask Me. I've only done 3 of these in total now, which really isn't that many. I'm hopefully going to do a few more throughout the year, but I reached out to you guys over on Twitter and here on YouTube to see what questions you'd like potentially answered in a video. I picked a bunch out, so let's just get straight into it. What's the first app you open in the morning? This is a tricky question because it means I have to admit that I do pick up my phone first thing in the morning, which not all of us like to admit, but let's be honest, 95% of us do this, and if you don't, then I applaud your self-control. But the first app, aside from my alarm clock, which I am swiping away to snooze, is Twitter. I use Twitter a lot, and it's generally my first port of call when I wake up in the morning. What are your thoughts on IGTV and vertical video in general? Now, for the longest time, in terms of vertical video, I've been a big naysayer. But I think, thinking back on why I've had that opinion, it's because mainly people are filming like this, but uploading it to platforms such as YouTube, where really the content is intended to be viewed in a landscape mode. And so you end up with those big black bars on either side of the video, which just doesn't look that good at all. And so that is the sort of vertical video that I'm a naysayer against. Now, in terms of IGTV, I'm actually really excited at the platform and the potential competition to YouTube, because I think competition to YouTube is going to make YouTube have to step up their game. The more and more that people start using IGTV, the more that YouTube goes, well, hang on a sec, we've got to start creating some other features and start trying to draw these users back. So that I'm a big fan of. In terms of vertical video on IGTV, I'm open to it. I like that Instagram is going with the whole, that this is how we use our phones, therefore why not present our videos in this format so that people don't have to turn it. Whether or not people are actually that fussed by having to turn their phone that way to watch a video, I don't think they are. So I'm not sure why that's not just a thing that we can have, but I know that they're also trying to stand out. So I can appreciate what Instagram are doing with IGTV. I'm excited by it. And in saying that, I also have a video uploaded there at the moment, and hopefully I'm planning to upload plenty more in the future as well. So I'll leave a link for where you can find me on Instagram TV down below. What's your deal breaker feature that would prevent you from buying a smartphone? So it's not about the cameras or the battery life. It's not even really about the performance, although it is slightly connected to performance, but it's the software experience. And my biggest pet peeve is when manufacturers place heavy skins on top of stock Android, because I think stock Android is the best way to experience Android. And manufacturers like Xiaomi and Huawei and Samsung, when they place their heavy skins on top of stock Android, whilst they do add some little handy features, I think they take away from the overall pleasant experience of using stock Android. And those little handy features like taking a screenshot with 3 fingers or whatever, they're not worth it for taking away that overall UI experience. So that is seriously one of the biggest things that I'm looking for when purchasing a daily driver. I don't mind using these sorts of software experiences for a couple of weeks here and there, but if I'm going to be using a phone every single day for months on end, then the software experience, if it's anything just slightly off, more than slightly off from stock Android, then I won't buy it. Which will be best, OnePlus 6 or Pixel 2? And I'm assuming you're talking about the 2XL. And to be honest with you, even though the OnePlus 6 is a phenomenal device, you guys know how much I love OnePlus devices, and it is actually the better bang for your buck device. So this sounds a little bit contradictory. I would suggest that if money wasn't an issue for you, I would still purchase the Pixel 2 XL. It's got the better camera, it has that IP rating, it's got better software experience despite what people might say, and I think really it is still the best Android phone you can buy despite what else is out there. And I think the Pixel 3 XL will be the next best Android you can buy, but if we're talking about better bang for your buck, then definitely the OnePlus 6. What advice would you give for someone who wants to start a YouTube channel? So for me, the biggest piece of advice I can give to you is just to start creating right now. Don't put it off any longer, because that's sometimes the biggest hurdle for us, is just that first video, and we're sort of scared that we want it to be this really high quality video. And let me tell you now, it's probably not going to be that high quality your first video. So you've got to sort of get it out of the way, and then from there you'll see that little improvement will grow as you create more videos. And so the next little piece of advice I would give is to keep creating. And I would set yourself a goal of trying to create a video a week if you can, depending on your life situation. So for me, I've done TV film courses, I've done other little things, but my biggest learning curve came from creating videos here for YouTube. So if you create regularly, you start learning from your previous videos, you're watching other people's videos, and as you do that, your quality will improve. So Start creating right now. Use whatever you have, a phone, a camera, cheap camera if you have it, but then keep on creating. Don't stop there with the first video and think, well, no one watched my video, therefore I'm gonna stop creating videos. Keep creating and keep improving, because that is seriously the mathematics of it, is that if you keep creating, you will keep improving. So that is my biggest advice, is to start right now, use whatever you have, but then keep on doing it. After using your new editing rig for a while, do you think you would ever move back to the Apple ecosystem and learn Final Cut Pro, or would you stick to the Windows environment and hold on to Adobe Premiere Pro CC? So if you missed my full video review of my PC that I uploaded a few weeks ago, I actually said in that video that I have used and continue to use Final Cut Pro 10 for quite a few videos outside of my YouTube channel. I've even used it for a couple of videos for my YouTube channel, and I even own a MacBook Pro 13-inch 2015 model. So that is my main laptop. But in terms of my main video editing workstation, like I said in that video, I've just decided that Adobe Premiere Pro is what I want to use. I love the workflow of it, so that means I have to stay using Windows, I guess. What advice do you have for someone who wants to get into cinematography or photography? Again, like I said before, just start doing. So get out there with your phone or with your cheap camera and start practicing taking photos. Get creative, try and find different angles, different ways of taking shots or photos. And then that way you're actually gonna have a bit of understanding, so that if you do one day get yourself a bit of an upgrade of a camera, then you'll have a bit of understanding of some of those basic principles, and then you can focus on learning how to use the camera, and then you can combine those two pieces of understanding to then hopefully develop in your photography or your cinematography. The second thing I'll say is make sure that you are always on the lookout for inspiration, because I do again think that is the best way that we learn, by looking at what other people are creating. So if you're a photographer, you're on Instagram looking up a whole bunch of different users and their photos and inspecting them and figuring out what is about this photo that I like, and then trying to emulate that perhaps in your own photography. And then if you're interested in cinematography, then jumping on YouTube. There are so many different channels. Filmright is a great one, but a whole host of different channels that teach you lots of tips and tricks about cinematography. So I would always be on the lookout for those sorts of channels, subscribe to them, watch their videos, and try and learn and upskill by looking at other people who already know a little bit about the topic you're interested in. Where should we learn editing software like Adobe Premiere Pro? Definitely YouTube is your best friend. You can learn pretty much everything you need to know about the software after you've watched this video. Just go up there and type in how to edit in Adobe Premiere Pro. There are thousands of videos that are going to teach you and that are really effective in actually pinpointing little specific techniques. So if you want to learn the basics or you want to learn specific things, then YouTube is your best friend. Which is the next best launcher apart from Nova? What is your favorite wallpaper app, and which is your favorite icon pack other than the Cryten Icon Pack? You are really wanting to know what customization apps I use on my phone, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Nova Launcher, the other launcher apart from Nova Launcher is Lean Launcher. I have featured this in a top Android apps video before, and I actually use this as my main launcher at the moment. It emulates the Pixel 2 launcher experience, but it's got a little bit of customization added in as well. I really like it. It's available on the Play Store. I'll link it down below. The wallpaper app that I use, let me just quickly check. It's the Wonderwall wallpaper application. Actually, I tend to use that because the images there are really high quality and they tend to stay as my backdrop for quite a long time, which if you know me, you know that's pretty rare. So the Wonderwall wallpaper app is awesome. And as for my second favorite icon pack after the Cryten Icon Pack, you know me well, it would probably be the Delta Icon Pack, mainly because of those pastel colors, which is similar to the Cryten Icon Pack. The icons aren't circles, so there's not that uniformity. And actually, I don't even use it because really I do only use the Cryten Icon Pack, but I'd say Delta Icon Pack is my second favorite icon pack. Okay, so that is where I'm gonna leave it for this episode of Ask Me. Hopefully I covered most of your questions, but if I didn't, then feel free to ask me anything down in the comments below and I'll do my best to hit you up with a response in the coming days. If you don't yet follow me over on Twitter or Instagram, then I'll leave links to those in the description below. I post behind the scenes content pretty regularly to those platforms, so if you're interested in seeing that sort of stuff, then definitely check them out. But aside from that, thank you guys very much for watching and I'll catch you later.